a lot of the stuff I've talked about in the last few weeks has been about culture, and everyone kind of knows what it means, don't they? But when it comes to actually establishing it and deciding, well, this is the culture we want, and then people just expect it to click into place. Well, why aren't you following our guidelines on culture? And, like you say, it's a very organic process, isn't it?
It's one of the questions that you've got, and I think it's an important one. It's equally as important to the previous question you just asked, is the what happens when people don't embrace that culture.
Yeah.
And that's.
Do you want to do that one next?
Yeah, because everybody's got the answer for when things are going well, and
yes.
they put this image forward. But in the real world, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. You face challenges and you've got to deal with them.
Yeah.
And it's how you deal with them.
So clearly, from the way you're talking there, it has happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Would you like to give any, without naming names, obviously? Give one or two examples.
We've formed a culture within the business. It's clearly defined, and utopia would be everybody embraces that culture.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in the real world, and everybody's got their own deal going on.
Yeah. And
sometimes people resistant to change, and they don't want to embrace that culture. And it's how you approach that. As a business, we would like everybody to embrace our culture. We're not going to change it to suit individuals.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be for the majority.
Yeah.
And we strongly believe that our culture will help take the business forward.
Mm-hmm.
So when those individuals are perhaps not embracing the change or not embracing the culture, it's you need to sit down with them and talk it through with them and try and sometimes it's as simple as explaining to them why you're doing what you're doing, and explaining the logic and the rationale.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But sometimes the reality is sometimes people get it. Sometimes people, after you've had those conversations, will make a change and they'll start to integrate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just because they've not been used to working in that particular way, and they just need a period of adjustment. Yeah. But there's also the scenario where people aren't prepared to change, to meet the culture. And that's not a criticism of anybody. It's not negative. It's just that can be very, very counterproductive to the business and also to the individual. Yeah. And we've had a number of occasions over the last 2-3 years where we've had to cross that bridge. Mm-hmm. And it's always been done in a respectful, positive way, in that, look, you're going to be a long time in work. It's not good for us and it's not good for you to be in an environment where you're not fitting in. And on a couple of occasions, the individuals also recognise that and they want to go in a different direction. I can think of 2 examples in particular where we've actually helped those individuals get jobs elsewhere.
That's perfect.
Where they are fit in, we keep in touch and we shake hands like gentlemen, and there's no problem. But that's the reality. Not everybody's going to buy into it, and you have to accept that.
Square pegs and round holes again.
Absolutely.